How's everybody doing out there? It's been a while now, about a week since I've seen any of my students. So I thought, you know what, this is going to last a while. Let's keep learning together. So I'm going to do the video probably once a week called Band Class at Home, and we're going to keep on learning and keep on going through all the stuff that you need to know through the rest of the year. Good news is for my students, most of you have everything prepared and learned up through April, and that's great. But we'll keep on going through together and making sure you're in the right place. Don't forget all the videos online on the website. Beyond this is just going to be kind of a regular type of class rather than a specific homework page or a specific learning page. So don't forget those videos if you need any help specifically. And then, like I say, I'm going to do a little bit like just a normal class, a little warm up, a little review, show you something new, maybe try something a little different, and we'll just keep on learning. And if this happens for 2 or 3 weeks, great. If it happens for more than that, we'll just keep on doing it. All right? So as we keep going, then I'll probably start even making jokes about people in our class. All right? So right now, Reese is rolling her eyes at me right now. Yeah, I know you are. And Gracie's back there laughing at me. I can tell that too. But anyway, we're just going to have some fun and keep playing here. It's a possibility that other people are joining us from other Visalia Unified schools, whether you are in Mr. Scholl's class or Ms. Dedamore's class or Mr. Rivera's class or Ms. Browning's class. You are welcome as well. Anybody else who happens to find this video, you are welcome as well. This is all going to be based on the Red Standards of Excellence books and what we kind of have put together as a pacing guide. So you can follow along if you use the Red Standards of Excellence books. With that, we're just going to continue learning. So we're going to start today with what I'm calling March number 1, which means we're going to go through and just kind of work through the March page. My students have all learned all this. Other students may not have, and that's fine. And you can always go backwards or go to one of the homework pages. All right. Let's do this. By the way, we're not using any special mics or anything. This is just a quick video that we can put up there just so you can keep on learning. Okay, so I'm looking at the March homework page, and we're going to kind of take just a rip through there. My students right now are actually doing the March homework page, the front of it, without stopping. For this video, though, let's go ahead and just play every song individually with little reminders along the way, and this is going to be kind of our base of everything else is going to be based on this class moving forward. All right, I'm looking at March number 1, 61, which was our easy February test. Let's do it. Oh, I haven't played yet, so we're going to get started. This is kind of our little warm-up. And feel free to stop and pause and whatever you need to do, take care of that. Here we go. March number 1, our March band homework page 61. 1, 2, ready. Good, let's move on. 73, we've been doing this. The big trick on this one, of course, is it doesn't stop. The eighth notes start to move or change, and then we have the dynamics in there. And remember, we play plenty loud. What we're trying to do is learn how to play softer. So don't think about forte as being loud. Think of forte as being normal, and everything else is just going a little bit quieter than that. Here we go, 73. 1, ready. All right, let's keep moving. 75. You notice in measure 2, the second note, we have that accidental. For some of you, it's an accidental, except for saxophones. You just see a regular F there. And so we're learning that new note that we did on page 18, I believe. Yeah, page 18. Here we go. 75. 1, 2, and ready. Good, and at that point, we now start going 76, 78, 84, which of course is the three songs that have not only a key signature, which you should have learned in February, but also an accidentals throughout there. Don't forget the two things that we got to remember. The one was a reminder on 75, which is accidentals, flat, sharp, and natural. They only last until the next bar line, but they do last all the way to the next bar line. If there happens to be 5 of those notes in there, all of them will be affected. But the big rule is, if a note doesn't have an accidental, you have to go with the key signature. My students all said that out loud just now because they know. All right, here we go. So looking at 76, there are 5 of those key notes that we need to look at. So for trumpets and for clarinets, that's the B or the B flat. And for saxophones, it's the F or the F sharp. And for the flutes, bells, trombones, then that happens to be, or baritones, that happens to be the A's or the A flats. So here we go on 76. There are 5 of them. Your key signature, tell somebody, normally what I would say is tell somebody what your key signature says, and they would say it and they would show what note those notes are in the key signature, and then you just have to look out for the accidental. 76, 1, ready. Keep moving. 78. Now we have to look at measure 3. There are 3 of those notes right in a row, and you got to figure out which one. Are they flat, natural, 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 flat, 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 natural, sharp, sharp? What are they? Figure those out. Measure 3, and then let's play it. Notice there are dynamics. So when you get to measure 5, make sure again we're bringing that down. Everything else is just normal except for 5 and 6. Here we go. 78. 1, 2, ready. Three, 4. All right, let's keep moving. 84, which was the test for March. Most of you have passed this already. If you haven't done this for some reason, this is a big one, and we talked about how to practice this. There's too much in this one. It's just full of stuff. And so you really need to go measure by measure, and what my classes talked about was practicing backwards. Go from measure 11 and 12 until you get that right. And then go from 10, 11, 12 till you get that right. And then go from 9, 10, 11, 12 till you get that right. So that you continually get stronger as you play through there. Here we go. Let's play the March test. 1, 2, ready. Good. One thing I was doing as I was playing, I'm trying to do the breath marks as they're written on the page, and they're actually just really too close together for me. And so my students all know that we try to play 4 measure phrases, 6 measure phrases, 8 measure phrases without taking a breath. And so on this one, easily first 4 measures, second 4 measures, third 4 measures without taking that breath. All right, let's turn over to the back. And we see number 80, Mexican Hat Dance, has a key signature. The time signature is new at 3/4, and then we have dynamics, and then we also have the accents ta, ta, a little extra air, a little extra space, a little extra T, ta, ta, no big deal on that. Sounds like this. Except for the last 2 notes, which is in the second ending. And then, of course, the rhyme is written above there on number 80, which says second time through, skip to ending 2. And if you need to mark that on your page, mark that on your page. Let's play number 80. 1, 2, 3, 1. Ready? 2, 3. To repeat. 2, 3. Got it? All right, let's keep moving on. Remember, you can always go up and play something again. Number 81, let's just play it straight through one time. In a subsequent lesson, we'll also talk about it as a round, and we'll work on that. But right now, let's just play it straight through. This measure 2, 4, 6, and 8 are all just a repeat of the measure prior to that. So we play measure 1 twice, we play measure 3 twice, we play measure 5 twice, we play measure 7 twice. The giant numbers on top, part 1, 2, 3, 4, that's when we turn it into a round. But for right now, ignore that, and let's just play it straight through one time. You could easily do this in 4 measures with one breath, and maybe even all 8. So try to go a little bit longer. Let's take a good breath and see how far we can go. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready. See, even an old man can do it, so you can do it too. All right, let's keep moving on. 86. Now, 86 is, 88 is the test for April, but 86 is what really makes you strong. That's what we want. As we have one of my students, Isaiah, has a shirt that says beast mode. So you want to go into beast mode when we're doing number 86. And on 86, if we take a look at it, for everybody but the clarinets, this is all about playing high notes. And high notes is all about the speed of the air. So all the tricks that we give you, all the high note tricks we give you, are all about how to make the air stay fast without having to blow so hard. And so the more we can use our muscles and make the hole smaller, we call it the aperture, make that hole small, and we can make that go really fast. We don't have to play loud to play high. We just got to make sure we're playing fast to play high. So let me just show you real quick. Some kids, they use just really soft, and they just have to blow really hard to get a high note. But if you use your muscles and some of the tricks that we've already talked about in class, which of course are, don't pucker up, you've got to keep the corners back, keep the lips tight, we got to press the lips together, and then don't be afraid to connect with your mouthpiece. Don't be afraid of just pressing in a little bit. And again, all that does is tighten everything up, and it makes the hole smaller. Flutes, we've talked about how to do yours, which is by using them, pushing your bottom lip out. Now, brass players, we talk about trumpet, trombone, baritone. We talk about don't push that bottom lip out. This is, the inside of your lip is soft, and there's no way you can make it tight. There's no way you can make that tight. The outside, you can make it tight and small. So on a brass player, if we're holding it tight, you can go really high very quietly by just pressing your lips together and making the hole smaller while still keeping the airspeed. We talk about this like a garden hose. When you have a certain amount of water in the garden hose, it just kind of comes out there. But the minute you put your thumb on it, it goes super fast. The same amount of water is going through there, you just made the hole smaller, and so that air, the water to squeeze through there has to go faster to get through that little hole. Same thing here. Don't blow harder, just use it, make the hole smaller. Okay? All right, so here we go. The trick on this one, again, is not just playing high notes, but playing high notes in measure 3 and measure 7 quietly. So let's try this. I will probably just do a breath in the first 4 measures and a breath in the second 4 because I'm tired of taking breaths every 2 measures. And you should get tired of that too, right? Here we go. Number 86. 1, 2, ready. So really work on that one until you can play it. Let me say it this way: when you can play it with the quiet measure 3 and measure 7, and you can play those high notes quietly, you are in great shape. There's, in my opinion, with the exception of a couple of things, there's nothing harder this year, and nothing makes next year easier. If you can play high notes easily, 6th grade is really, really quite easy, and as you move forward after that. All right, now the scale is simply, again, kids like to look at this and freak out, but there's really nothing to freak out about. As you take a look at that, you go, well, look at the first line, for everybody but clarinets, there's only 3 notes in the middle that are new. Those are all old notes, those are all old notes, and you just got those 3 notes in the middle that are new. Clarinets, you have 4 notes that are new on the first line, and then the second line, clarinets have nothing new. Everybody else has 2 new notes, the 4th and the 5th note, and that's it. The rest of the song is nothing new. What's the trick about it then? Well, we're going from a low note to a high note, which means our air has to gradually change from our low note all the way up to the high note. We got to change the air so that we get the correct note and make it sound correct. So making our air change to make our notes go up and down and sound good. That's what we're trying to do. All right, so as we start, slower air, and as we speed up, as we go higher, we got to speed the air up and or make the holes smaller so we can play continuing up. I'll probably do the first line in one breath just because, and then the second line I'll do the arpeggio in one breath, and then on the chords, I think you guys know that. You see it's written there. For everybody but the trombones, there's 2 notes on each of these stems. Just either choose the top note, top note, top note, or bottom note, bottom note, bottom note. Doesn't matter. We're playing these, and all of a sudden a chord is when 3 or more notes sound, or 2 or more notes sound good together, like on a guitar playing a chord or a piano playing a chord. We just did this a few weeks ago with my classes, and we would play those chords, and everybody went, oh, it sounds pretty, and that's where we're heading. Same thing when we get up to 81, when we're playing different things at the same time, it sounds really cool. The trick is I have to be able to play my part and stay together with everybody else playing their part, and then it sounds good together. But it's a little tricky. We'll do this in probably the next lesson or two. We'll do Frere Jacques, where we start putting it all together. 88, let's do it. Here we go. So this is the April test, but in our case, we're just trying to get good at it. 1, 2, ready. All right, I forgot to mention, bells, when you play this, you can actually play both of those notes at the same time using both mallets on both notes, both notes, both notes. So you guys get a little special. Trombones, baritones, you actually just have one note. Bum, bum, bum. That's what we call the root note, and that's really important. We need that root note. Bum, bum, bum. And everybody else is playing these other notes on top of it. So you're the one that holds it all together. You're the most important part of that chord part. All right, now the last 3 of March is what we call the key signature songs. Now there's currently we've known 2. For like clarinets and trumpets, the B's are flat or the B's are natural. That's all you're worried about. For flutes, bells, trombones, baritones, the A's are flat, the A's are natural. That's all you've worried about. Saxophones, the F's are natural, the F's are sharp. That's all you're worried about. Well, now we're going to add a 3rd one to that, and then this is all we're going to need for a while. Almost a year from now, it's going to be almost a year from now before we learn our 4th and 5th key signatures. So once you understand this, you're in great shape. So these 3 key signature songs we're going to review every day. But what's going to happen is we're just going to change the song. So let's just say that. These 3 key signatures we're going to review every day, and the songs are going to change. Right now it's going to be these 3 songs. But as you'll notice as we move to different pages, we'll do another 3 songs, same 3 key signatures, and we'll review them every day. Make sure if you haven't done this already that you do this. Key signature number 1, next to it says, like I'm on the trumpet page, all B's are blank, all F's are blank. Make sure you fill it in. I prefer that you put a picture, the flat, sharp, or natural, but you can write in whichever word you need to, and review that before you play that song. And for trombones, baritones, flutes, bells, it would be all A's are flat. All A's are natural, all E's are flat. And for saxophones, it would be all F's are sharp, and all C's are natural. That's for the first one. That's called number 101, pocket change. Very easy. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Good? All right. Now, if you look at 100, this is the new one. If you look at the second note, there's a new note for some of you. My students have all learned this already, but if you look at the second note, it tells you how to play it and what it is. You can also then find it on page 23 if you want to go look at it. Whatever your note is, it'll tell you what it is, tell you the name of it, tell you where to go find it in the book. And on the book, it'll be a little yellow square on page 23. So we're looking at number 100, but let's take a look at the key signature. So the key signature changes on this one. So we just did this the last couple of weeks, so let's make sure we cover this real clearly. Trumpets and clarinets. Now for the first time, you see a sharp in your key signature, right? And all you got to do is look in the middle of that to see what is sharp. In this case, it's way up at the top, and there's a line that goes through the middle. So lines are every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. All F's are sharp. B's are not affected, just the F's are sharp right now. So you take a look, right above there we would write all B's are natural, all F's are sharp. And so you need those two there. Then you look at the second one, you see what F sharp is for the trumpets and also for the baritones. And then for the clarinets, instead of the thumb F, now we're going to do a first finger F sharp. And so that's what that looks like in the key signature, and that's what you're going to play there. Notice that we have an asterisk or a star under all of those notes. So there's an F sharp there, an F sharp there, an F sharp there, an F sharp there, and F sharp there. For trumpets, for flutes, bells, trombones, baritones, your key signature looks a little different. You still have that B flat, you have every good boy, but then the second flat is now gone. That flat was an E flat, F-A-C-E, and so that E is now gone, so now it means all E's are natural. For trombones and baritones, that would have been a B flat, and then the E, the all cows eat, the E is now gone, so all E's are natural. So you guys would write in, all A's are natural, all E's are natural. So what's an E natural for you? So the flutes, we have just like an F, and then you just add the second finger for F sharp, F, E natural, F, E natural, F, E natural, and as opposed to the E flat. For the trombones, it's staying second position there. For the baritones, it is that. Bells, it actually just is the E. If you have white and black notes, it's the white E instead of the black E flat. For saxophones, you now have something new. You have the F sharp there, but you now have a second sharp. You look in the middle of it, it's on a space, F, A, C, and then that is going to be a C sharp. And C sharp for saxophones is nothing, so you better not mess that one up. That one's super easy. Or as my kids at Cotton would like to do, they put their hands up there, so I don't know why, but they do that. Anyway, so let's take a look at 100. So again, there are 5 of those notes in there. Make sure you know what the key signature is. Make sure you've written in key signature number 2, what that is, and then we've got 5 of those notes. Here, play that note for me real quick. The second note, get your fingering ready or whatever, and play that note. Sounds like this. Now, normally in song number 101, it's different, so make sure you do the second one. All right, let's play 100. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, 100. All right, now before we move on, let's take a quick look at one more thing. 100 and 101, if you look at just the first 6 measures, they look identical. The only thing different is the key signature. So if you play the first 6 measures on 101, it sounds like this with this key signature. On 100, the same 6 measures look exactly the same except for the key signature changes, but listen how different it sounds. Right? So you can hear the difference by just changing a key signature. Everything totally is different there. All right, S number 1, happy birthday. This is the third key signature. My classes have all gone through this. Just as a review, the first 2 notes are what we call pickup notes because they belong with the next measure. Happy birth. They're not by themselves. They belong with measure 2. Also notice in measure 6, for most of you, you have 1 stem but 2 notes. Remember, when there's 2 notes on a stem, you have to choose one. Now, if you don't know the top note very well yet, you can play the bottom one. It's happy birthday. So you can do the top note or the bottom note, works fine. Clarinets, since you haven't officially learned this yet, it stays on that bottom C for you. Then measure 7, second note, above it there's something called a fermata, and we often call it a bird's eye because it kind of looks like if you think of an eagle and that eye of an eagle kind of pops out there, it kind of looks like that. All that really means is watch the teacher for the instruction. We're going to hold that note longer than normal, and then the teacher will cut off and then tell you where to keep going. When we're playing by ourselves, we just hold it a little bit longer. I think that's it. Let's do it. So, key signature. Yeah, this is our third key signature. So look at that. For trumpets and clarinets, all B's are, well, I see 1 flat, every good boy. That means all B's are flat, but all F's are going to be natural. And then for flutes, bells, trombones, baritones, I see that the B is flat, the E is flat, but we add a 3rd flat, and that is the A. A is flat, so all A's are flat, all E's are flat on that one. And saxophones, you have nothing, which means all F's are natural, all C's are natural. This one we've covered a little bit before, so I'm not going to take any time on that. Here we go. Let's play Happy Birthday. Remember, you got measure 6, first note. You got to choose which one. It works fine either way. All right. 1, 2, 3. Ready, go. There it is. By the way, from the last 2 notes of 5 to the first note of 6, that's called an octave jump. Bum, bum, bum. And so for flutes, trombones, baritones, and trombones, flutes, trombones, baritones, and trumpets, brass and flutes, that's where we're talking about playing those high notes easily. Bum, bum, bum. That's a great thing for us to be able to play. All right, so that's the March homework page. The only thing we'll do next time is, instead of just that, we'll rip through some of that as a kind of a warm-up. But then I'm going to show you a couple of tricks on 81. Plus, I'm going to show you the songs I've been showing my group that are really to help you with the 6th grade stuff. So each section will show you that. Drums, don't forget that you actually have a special page. This one is beyond that first 4 strokes for drums. This one is actually called Sixteenths and Rolls. If you don't have that, then what I'd like you to do is go to my regular page and then find the videos for Sixteenths and Rolls, and then there'll be a PDF in there. You can then download that and print that out at home and start working on that. There's a video on how to read those notes. There's a video on how to play those notes. If you guys really focus on that page, you're going to be in great shape. If you don't focus on that page, you're going to be a little bit lost when we finally get back together. Okay? Clarinets, you have 4 videos, I believe, on my website page for you, which is the Superstar page, which you guys should all have the Superstar page. If you don't, I will go ahead and put the PDF in there in case you need that. But there's one about reading the notes. There's one about playing high notes, there's one about playing low notes, and then there's one that just goes through the entire page. Now, we've been going through it a variety of different ways, but for those of you out there who haven't done this yet, Mr. Scholl does all 4 of these videos. They are fantastic videos. Clarinets, if all you did was play that, I shouldn't say all you did, but if you got good at those 2 pages, next year's going to be super easy for you. Drums, if you get good at that page, it's going to be super easy for you. Everybody else, you're pretty much doing this, plus some extra pages, or some extra songs I'm going to show you in the red book. All right, so you're welcome to practice on your own, obviously. This is just kind of fun to get together and get to kind of do it as a class again, because you get kind of bored of just trying to doing it by yourself. So again, I'll be starting giving a list of different videos available for different lessons, and this was the first one. So have a good day, keep playing every day. You got no excuse about practice. All right, talk to you later. Bye.